It's really good to be with you. I looked up, I was trying to get a handle on the numbers because we understand that we have a lot of folks in the military in Texas and we have a lot of veterans in Texas. Texas is bigger than other places. Naturally, we should have more of those groups of folks than other places. I wanted to get a handle on the numbers, and from what I could find from the Texas Workforce Commission, there were more than 1.7 million veterans in Texas and roughly about 25,000 service members a year either return to Texas or remain in Texas after serving, just so we understand the universe of folks we're talking about. I want to ask each of you from your perspective in a kind of big way, big picture way, about the state of play. You're all working in this space directly or indirectly. What are the opportunities for reintegrating service members into the civilian workforce, into all of our communities? What are the opportunities and what are the challenges?
You have to be very proactive instead of reactive when you're working with veterans, because every day something changes, needs change. We go to war, right? We're at war right now.
Right.
We need to be proactive about what veterans need, what veterans and families need as we go along.
Are you able, Carrie, to anticipate what they need? In other words, how far out? I have to imagine that just in this community, as in all communities, things change, right?
It does, yes.
People change. Your consumer base, if you're a business, your consumer base changes over time.
Well, I think that we can predict, with the VA's help, our population, right?
Right.
So we know kind of what the population looks like in the future. Yeah. So we know what kind of VA resources, what kind of health resources needs are we're going to have to provide in the future. Yeah. There's things that we also know, right? We know that veterans need jobs. Right. They do work in their jobs in the military that translate into civilian jobs in the civilian world.
So many of the businesses that get started today have some technology at the center of them. Oh, yeah. And here I think about a campus like Texas A&M San Antonio, where you potentially have the training ground for these folks to come through and get the skills they need to then unlock the inner entrepreneur, right?
Absolutely, and I think that's key. And as you heard, I think all the panelists have said, we have made changes. We have re-imaged, we have looked on what's in the future. Right. So on our campus at A&M San Antonio, and us celebrating our 10 years, we don't have that mindset of we've been doing it 100 years at some institutions, where it changes a little bit harder. Right. Our leadership team envisions not what's happening today, but what's happening in the future. How can A&M San Antonio be that bridge where our students are leaving our campus ready for that workforce or ready for whatever they want to do next, right, and providing those tools and resources. So again, it's providing that mentorship. And I think the key word there is mentorship. It's being able to talk and chat with one another instead of on the exit, as Joseph mentioned, it's all of just putting the check box and getting out. There's not foreseeing and planning. It's all about getting that job. And 9 times out of 10, when they just get that job, as mentioned, it's underpaid. It's not where the level that they should be at. But again, it's to provide that immediate need so they're not struggling. So it's all about mitigating the struggle after leaving the service.
Yeah. So if you waved your wand over this issue and you could say, these are 2 or 3 things that I think would ease the transition, would create more opportunity, would make the process more effective, would streamline it, what would those be?
I would say number 1, educate service members, veterans, and their families on what's available to them.
On the front end of their service?
On the front end,
yeah,
before they even leave. And that's happening right now. Yeah. So number 1, that's what I would do. How to be your own advocate, how to advocate for yourself and for your family, find the information, yeah, and execute that information. Yeah. Number 1, educate. Yeah. I think number 2 would be collaboration. Yeah. So you have so many services out there providing the same type of services, state, local, nonprofit, thank you, nonprofit. But it's hard, we all work together, but we're all competing, it seems, for the same information or the same money, so the same dollars.
Duplication of effort.
Duplication of effort can be challenging.
And if we had a magic wand, for me it's easy. It's 2 things. We can do them almost immediately. Number 1 is for every 1 year of military service, that service member upon exit, I believe, should be given 1 week per year of service to go and see what the civilian world jobs look like. Intern in like 1 or 2 of their favorite deals. I mean, if you remember
during a year of
during their
service.
active duty service standpoint. The second thing, if I wave my wand, is there are 40,000 plus organizations out there that claim to be working on behalf of veterans and families, which is clouding the world. They all have their own executive directors. They're all out raising money, and they're all in competition. I think they should be held a lot more accountable by using data, because otherwise, how are the American people to know which charities to give to and which not to when everybody's got their hand out? Drives me crazy.
Veterans, they want to find a purpose and have a mission wherever they go. And so, being able to work for a company and looking at their values and seeing, is it a company I want to be a part of? Volunteers are more likely to vote. They're more likely to volunteer. I mean, these are true statistics. And so, that is going to play a role, especially with some of these younger veterans that are returning to the
I think is a good point to make is, the Texas Workforce or the Texas Veterans Commission, at one time, I think it was 85% or higher, their employees were veterans. So these are veterans helping other veterans. And so to make your point, when you talk about, coming out, transitioning service members coming out, and they're speaking to their friends and their mentors, and you're saying, hey, buddy, this is what you need to do. Well, they're there. They're already in the workforce helping other veterans within the Texas Veterans Commission, within the Texas Workforce Commission, and out in the community. So they're partnering up with veterans who are already doing it, and we're getting to show them the way. So that's a really big
It's a positive
honor.
thing.
Right.
It's good to end on a positive thing. Megan talked about mission. My mission is to tell you that it's 1 o'clock and that we're done here. We had a great discussion with a great panel. Please thank Megan Bunce, Richard Delgado, Joseph Kopser, Carrie Sconza. Thank them so much for being here. And thank you again to San Antonio College.